Well, hello there. Okay, let's see something. Mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2. Okay, so I'm just checking my mic, checking some settings, and we are off. I'm gonna be crying in like 2 seconds because I got no clue what I'm doing with this damn lightning. But you know what? I'm gonna do it because that's what you gotta do, right? You gotta keep it pushing. All right, let's do this. Let's get some lightning done, people. Anyways, so welcome to the stream. All 0 of you. Today I'll be sculpting this guy's lightning, and yeah, just trying to figure it out. Like right now, I'm trying to think about it as like ice because I don't know. It's like usually, so if I were to draw this, it'd be so easy to just do these angular forms, and it's so crazy because lightning apparently has anatomy that I didn't. Well, obviously it's gonna have anatomy. Everything has like a form and function, but like it's interesting. I just hope that this looks all right. I do have to fix this one too as well, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep sculpting this. Let's turn these guys off. Let's turn that floating head off and this hat off, and also that floating lightning bolt. Okay, let's do this. So I do have some custom brushes. I guess ask me in the question in the comment section if there's anything that you'd like to know. But yeah, funny enough, I'm actually looking at Daniel Bell. He actually made like this this Batman sculpt like some time ago, and is this the right brush? Yeah, it is. He made this this Batman sculpt some time ago, and it's like the Batman from like I think it's like where he's like fighting Superman. I honestly don't really read the Batman comics. Not gonna lie to you guys. Batman's kind of overrated, and there I lose a follower like right there. But yeah. Oh fuck, what's going on here? Oh, can we even curse on YouTube? Well, anyways, I think Batman's kind of overrated, to be honest. Like his power is money. Like that's cool. Okay. Okay, let's bring this down. No, let's bring it back up. And let's get it. All right. Let's figure this out. So I'm kind of like in the ballpark. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm kind of thinking about just like turning this into just having that ice look, because really what I'm thinking about is the silhouette, honestly. Like, how does that read? I've already shared this with like a few people, and they kind of like already have the impression that it reads as like lightning. So I think that's something that I'm happy with, but I do want to keep pushing this, especially these edges, or these, what are these called? These branches of lightning. I have reference on the side, so that's why I'm doing that. So anywho, let's start sculpting. Let's get on in this bad boy here. See, the one thing I realized with me and my sculpting is that I am so precious with my sculpts, and I think that is why I take so long with them, because I'll sculpt with like low fucking intensity, and then You're like, why is this taking a whole month or 3 weeks? But you know, to be fair, I remember listening to a stream with Daniel Bell himself on it, and he was saying usually, what was it, 2 months is fast for these kinds of sculpts. And so far, this will be the 4th week that I'm actually working on this. Yeah, your boy's consistent. So yeah. You know, consistency with art, I think, you know, the one thing I worry about with like art in general is that like social media has changed it so much to the point that like speed has become more important than what it is that you're actually creating. And this isn't to take away from people who can sculpt at really fast speeds. I think it's incredible regardless, because I love sculpts. I love seeing other people make really awesome sculpts, especially at like the speed of light. I don't know. I just think there's a beauty in taking your time as well. You know, it's okay to, you know, take months at working on something, and I feel like, you know, that's one thing about the market that I just really dislike, is how it's kind of put us, like, as artists, we're already hard on ourselves, and I think like this idea that we have to create super quick is really screwing with a lot of us artists. Like, you know, we have to make things according to like an algorithm or something like that, and like I just don't think that's something that is just helpful long term for us, you know. Like, all right, let me just turn this into the shape, because I think, like, you know, growing up, I've always loved comics. I've always loved toys. But, you know, being from like a Jamaican household, my mom thought like I was a man at 12. So I don't know if this is fucked up, but like she got rid of my toys because she wanted me to like play more sports and stuff like that. And I did. I had fun and stuff. That was great. But I think, you know, for me, sculpting is a lot like playing with my action figures, or at least that's the feeling that I get with it. And I don't want to feel like I'm rushed, you know. I don't want to feel like I have to do things on a certain timeline, you know. Like, I get the idea of like the professional environment, you know, like you want to make stuff that you know, you can show your work, your employees or your potential future employees, oh, I can make this in like 3 days, I can make this in like a month. And you kind of want that because it does make you stand out. I do think that is a very true thing. But for me, I think of it as like the art itself. Like, I don't know. I just don't want us to. I just don't. Not that I don't want. I just don't like how things have become like a race. You know. Just make what you want. If you take it forever to make something, who cares? If you know, stop working on something because you're more interested in doing something else, then, you know, I guess. And I get the whole flip side of things about like, well, you know, consistency is important. It definitely is, but I don't know. I think moderation and balance is important too. Yeah. All right, let's get this looking like Daniel Bell's lightning. Oh, hold on. Let me backface. So we get that. And how doing this? Okay, so 6. Let's actually give you the 6-2. Turn it off. I don't know how people do this. Just like, I'm not talking to anybody right now. I'm literally talking to myself. I don't know how people do this. Just get on stream and just ramble. To be fair, people have told me I talk quite a lot, so maybe this is where I belong. Is rambling about random shit. Actually, you know what? I want this to be ad. Yeah, I honestly have I've literally never sculpted lightning. I've sculpted fire. Well, actually, no. Yeah, I've sculpted fire at some point, but it was like really like basic, so it wasn't anything that was gonna like stand out or anything like that. Yeah, that's why I made this invisible in the first place. Alright, let's start making some small cuts. Oh shoot. So that start making some small cuts in this murder. Shoulda. Boom, 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 boom. Oh my god, the other day, where's my phone? What the heck, where's my phone? Oh. I got followed by James King, and that, I don't know, like, I think I definitely fangirled, but that was pretty exciting to get a follow from him. And I also got a follow from, this other guy, yeah, Francisco. This guy's like a senior character artist. Worked on like Mortal Kombat, Gotham. Oh, he worked on Mortal Kombat 11 and 1. Wow, that is really impressive. Well, more so his art. His art is actually really impressive. I'll actually link these two in the comments, I guess, because I don't know. I guess like I just really love seeing really great sculpts, and you know they oh my god, their sculpts are just beautiful, especially James. God, that's like the level I want to be on, honestly. I think for me, I think like most artists, we have like this comparison thing, but I feel like lately, instead of like comparing, I'm just like getting so inspired. Like, holy shit! Like, you made that, I can do that too. Because I think the one thing that we kind of like often forget is that like if another person can do something, you can do it too. But also that, you know, if somebody can do something with a software that you're using too, that means you can probably do that too. And not to say like, oh, like, you know, you want to do this specifically so that you can just be just like somebody else, because I think one thing that, you know, we as artists really enjoy is, you know, having our own kind of our own style, our own look, you know, do our own thing, you know what I'm saying? Like Miles Morales, I'm gonna do my own thing. Um, but at the end of the day, it's like it's at the end of the day, there's no real point to like comparison, right? Because we're all on our own little journeys. We all have things that we like and dislike about our art pieces, things that we feel that we can improve and that we can actually improve on, because there's always room for improvement. And I think for me, my thing is I'm kind of like a perfectionist. And I think that's like the worst that's like the worst thing to be as an artist, is having that perfectionism just plague your work all the time. Like, look at me right now being so meticulous with just making these cuts when I don't even have to be. But you know, that's actually part of the reason why I started streaming my process, is because I've always been so like cards to the chest with my artwork. And I think, you know, it's been that way since like high school, you know? Like I've always like, you know, even my professor, she's like, "Oh, your work is so great, but you gotta share it more. Just, you know, stop trying to like, you know, hide it or throw it away." Like I legitimately, like, I still remember in high school, like we would always do like she would always put us to like make pieces for like businesses in order to like get paid like small amount, you know, like we did something for a business, but then also like putting our work inside of like actual like museums. Like I still remember we were in the Bronx Museum. We had like a lot of pieces out there, and that was like really dope, honestly. um, and it's really cool that, you know, they actually did that for us, because, you know, the Bronx isn't like, unfortunately, like we, you know, we have a lot of financial, we had a lot of financial issues. I'm not too familiar with like what's going on at the moment now, so I don't want to speak on it as if I do. But it's like, I think the greatest thing that you can do as a teacher is, or as just creatives, is like encourage each other, really, you know. Because there's no such thing as like perfection. And you know, my biggest hope is that like going forward, we all are, well, it's just that we realize that within ourselves, is that there's no way that we're gonna make the perfect piece. There's no way that we're gonna make the I don't know, uh, there's no way that we're gonna be making these perfect pieces for the world. Maybe for us as individuals, we're making pieces that are meaningful and, or our masterpieces, and there's nothing wrong with that for sure. But my biggest hope is that we start to veer away from that perfectionism mindset. And I think a lot of social media kind of drives that in a lot of ways, because you're kind of like seeing people who, who've kind of like, I don't want to say won the game, but are doing well in the game. And you're seeing those posts 2-3 times a day, and it's this high quality content, all types of shit. I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of how do you put it? I don't know. Sometimes it makes me feel like I'm not doing enough. But the reality is, you're always enough. Your work, how much work you put in is always enough. That shouldn't be dependent on what other people think that is, or what other people like. Like make shit that you like. That's why I'm making this sculpt. I've always loved static shock, and I've always wanted to make a static shock sculpt. I just never really, I think for me, I've always had this fear of kind of like, not just putting myself out there, like talking like I am now, rambling and saying all types of random shit, but working on what it is that I want to, like even in my personal time, like, because when I did work for, studios and stuff like that, I would, make stuff for them and eventually get a little bit jaded because I want to, that is not like static, but you know what? It looks like static to me. No, it doesn't. I'll keep at it. This is a work in progress. But yeah, I think, unfortunately sometimes like work kind of makes you a little bit jaded because you're just working on pieces that you don't really have a connection to. I think at the end of the day, it's like sculpting in and of itself is a fun thing to do. So in that way, even if it might be frustrating working on a piece, like, or or doing constant changes for a piece that you're working on, wow, that is really strong. Or just doing constant changes for a piece that you're working on, and you're like, oh my god, how many changes do we have to make? Can we just get it in the engine and just see how it looks? Well, that's what you're doing anyways, but I don't know. Everything is a process, and I think part of that process is just enjoying it, Just enjoy it. Enjoy where you are in that process, Right now I'm struggling with lightning, but who knows? Maybe in the year I'll be making nothing but lightning characters. The black creative only making lightning characters. The irony. Oh fuck! What just happened? Okay, let's actually get this guy. Let's get this guy cut up. And I think, yeah, I'm just like, looking at the reference, getting let me just step away from the canvas, get a different angle. you know, and it's so interesting, you know, so like with my sculpting journey, to be honest with you guys, like I actually started, believe it or not, in 20 fucking 15. And as much as you would think that would mean, oh my God, you are going to be this, you should, or you are this guy who's got so much experience in it and stuff. Unfortunately, I quit quite a few times at this. And a lot of it was because I just didn't really believe in myself. To be completely honest, like I just did not believe in, you know, my skills. I kind of constantly second guessed myself, and um, honestly, I think I'm a pretty sensitive guy, and you know, a lot of you know, so one of the first jobs I had, at least in the industry, was an internship for a indie studio, and I remember it wasn't the best job because I do remember being told that my art was terrible. And at the time, I actually saved that work and I cherished the work that I did because, you know, I like to look back on how far I've gone. And I think, you know, I tried to play it off that, you know, oh no, he's just saying that because I'm, you know, because shit went left. What turned out was he was like hiding funds and didn't want to pay me and another person, so I called him out on it, and then he got upset and started saying that my work was shit. Uh, but I don't know. It's just like he said my work was shit, and I believed him, and I had a tougher time after that. I did do like a contract work after that, and was able to, you know, I was still able to do like contract work, thankfully, and you know, still get some money because you know, struggling artist, just graduated, just looking for work, looking, grabbing anything. Um, that really fucked me up. I'm not gonna lie. But I don't know. I guess I say this to say like, you know, I think, you know what, I'm just gonna speak for myself. You know, at the time I kind of just like gave up on my art piece, and the reality of it is that I'm a decent artist. I think that I'm pretty good at, you know, what it is that I do. I have a decent grasp at, you know, a lot of these art concepts and stuff like that, and you know, those things. I'm so glad this is being recorded. But but yeah, you know, I've quit quite a few times, and the reason why I know that sculpting is something that I don't think I'll ever get away from it is, well, one, I'm doing it right now, but two, like I've given up probably like a handful of times, and each time I did, I always came back. I always came back, and I always came back to try to, you know, make something interesting, make something cool, and I don't know. I guess like in that way, I'm proud that I came back. But you know, I don't know. I guess like I don't even know why I'm mentioning this, but I guess I'm saying this because I'm just hoping that if anybody feels like they're, you know, you should just give up on your work, you know, like don't give up. Like, and you know, that's part of the reason why I'm doing this stream, like starting from like the beginning, because like I think it's very important for all of us as like sculptors, as artists, to see that process and to see that nothing is going to start out looking pristine and good. Everything's going to start out blobby, and you know, over time you'll get better at it, I think. So, you know, just I think the key to a lot of this is just being patient with yourself, you know. Be patient with the process. Your work might not be good now, and I think, you know, in art school, you know, we're taught about like the artist's eye and how like your artist's eye develops so much faster than your hand. So, you know what looks good and what doesn't. So, it makes it very easy to be very, very hard on yourself. And I think don't be so hard on yourself that you kind of like just stop working on things that you want to, because you know, and that's why it's so important to find pieces that you want to do for yourself, not pieces that you want to do for social media, because it's not only going to help you grow as an artist, because every piece that you work on you actually get better, uh, but it's because you want to. I think as artists, it's a great feeling to look back and feel proud of the work that you worked on, you know, and just to feel happy that you were able to work on certain things, you know. So you know, just whenever you're doing like personal stuff, do what is interesting to you. Work on what it is that you are moved by. What if it's like anime, even better, because last I heard, like even with like recruiting and stuff, if we're being real in this industry, it'll be very hard to find people who aren't into anime, at least from in my opinion. So, or even like comics or superheroes and stuff like that. So work on what you want to work on. You'll probably end up working on some niche piece that like a recruiter is like, holy shit, you know about this show? You know about I don't know. Solo? No, everybody knows about Solo Leveling now. Kaiju 8? No, that's Steins Gate. Yeah, that could be one. Everybody knows about Steins Gate. Yeah. So one habit I'm realizing that I have with myself is what I said earlier, is that I am just so close to the piece that I end up like honing in and just focusing on this one area. When in reality, especially during the blockout stage, you kind of just want to, at least for me, I don't want to speak for anybody else. I think it's a good idea to just jump around and just slowly build your forms, you know. And oh, you know what? I can definitely be messing with this only because I'm going to be using the H polish. Polish all of this up. And as much as like the influence of ice is what I'm thinking, I do have to remember that this is lightning. So right now what I'm thinking this can help with is like, so I'm looking at the reference, and it looks, honestly, it looks like an iceberg, what he did here. Like, I know it's lightning, but it also looks like ice. But if I do something like this, I think that it can give me happy accidents, or like lines that I can follow. So as much as I'll be using the H polish brush to like polish out certain areas or like sides to the lightning branch, I can then go in with ooh, and out with my damn standard brush and start breaking up these lines and adding my own planes. And a lot of this is like, there'll be like a paint over, so a lot of these lines will be unconsciously noticed. At the same time, it's like, I just really need this to look decent at least. How much rambling can one man do in 2 hours? At the end of the day, believe in your art, because proficiency comes with time. And it's something that I have to tell myself too. Advice that I have to take myself too is being consistent with what it is that I'm working on. And hold on a second, move the reference around, let's see something else. Excuse me. here. Yeah, let's just do some strokes and see what happens here. Yeah, well, honestly, what I'm hoping for is, like I said, I'm just hoping for some happy accidents, because I'm low-key struggling with making this look cool, honestly, at least to me. Again, trying not to fall into that perfectionist camp. Okay, chat. What's going on, chat? Yeah, honestly, I'm just gonna have fun with this. Like, not entirely sure if this is looking good, but you know what? I'm gonna give it my best. That's all I can do, right? And if it doesn't look good, I'll improve it. And if it's a well, once I do finish this, I'll use what I learned from working on this onto my next project. Actually, I should do it this way. Yeah, if anybody's got some lightning sculpting tips, your boy is open. Actually, go white mushroom. Work on this in a sec. Oh, I'm gonna sculpt that. Yeah, I should probably do some warm-ups every now and then before I start like jumping into doing the sculpts, because like now I'm starting to get the little bit of the hang of this. So I should probably try to warm up more often. honestly, the wobbliness is kind of okay because as much as like my reference is that Daniel Bell lightning, I saw like quite a bit of other pieces that use lightning. Like there was like a black bolt sculpt, and I think there was what was it called? Kakashi using the lightning blade. So it's like I do have an idea of how other people approach lightning, so I'm kind of like mixing both because I like both elements. Oh my god, excuse me, Jesus Christ. Oh, look at that happy accent there. I like how that looks. I'll have to fill it just a little bit. Part of me, another thing is, like I said, is to be able to look back. I'm making these recordings so I can look back at my, progress and show people the steps. But also, I don't know. I kind of think of these as like time capsules, like because time is always going to pass. So it's like I wonder, where am I going to be in the next few years? And like, if I look back at this and listen to myself, like, what will I think? I love stuff like that. Okay, so I'm kind of getting into a bit of a groove, which is good. So I'm just gonna lean into it. And I think the other thing as an artist that I constantly face is it's fear of success, I'd say. And I think that's why sometimes it's so hard for me to be consistent. I just worry, about, I don't know, like if I can handle, or if I have what it takes. And I think like for me, I constantly worry. Well, yeah, no, I do constantly worry if I have what it takes to be considered a good artist. And again, the idea of like us, of people in general having to follow their own advice is like, I know is the idea of just like I should be comfortable with what it is that I make, of course, but there's always room for improvement. And a lot of the times it's okay to listen to people who have more experience than you, or even less experience than you, because we all have an artistic eye to some level. And sometimes people who aren't even sculptors can point out things that you might not even notice yourself, like something odd about like a piece. So sometimes I'll ask my girlfriend, like, hey, what do you think of this piece? What do you think I should be focusing on or improving on? It's a great way to get really good set of fresh eyes on your pieces too. Outside of like physically stepping away and taking a break and taking care of your health, like do something like stretching or something like that. Just stepping away, like it's a great way to reframe your eyes. So, part of the reason right now I'm not too concerned about viewership is because I like I said, like part of this, I'm doing this for me. I really wanted to give myself that chance to just be consistent. And so far I'm really happy with myself. The fact that I am, that's a huge accomplishment, a huge win for me. But again, like just something for me to look back on and just go like, holy shit, I did it. I did it. And hopefully encourage other people to do the same because, man, the talent. Oh my God. There's so many really great artists out there, and I love it. I love, you know what I really love about the art community, at least like with ZBrush, because I don't really know too much about other art communities, is just like how friendly everybody is. Like the sculptors, like everybody's just so willing to, you know, talk about art pieces and, you know, if they have the time, help you out with your pieces and stuff like that. I love that. It's pretty cool. This. Increase. Oh my God. Oh, I should do that after I use the polish. Oh my God, I was like totally telling a story about like me quitting and shit, and I just never continued. Really bad habit of just rambling, which is why I said, you know, maybe I should just be on YouTube more often. Anyway, so as far as like my career, at least like how long I've been doing this, I think for me personally, I think technically when it comes down to like me actually taking sculpting seriously and actually like, you know, learning a lot more and well, I won't say it like that because I did take it seriously when I first started. I just, you know, kept quitting and stuff like that. But um, what I'll say is that I might actually get rid of this piece. I don't think I need it. It's that I feel like I really started when I started working at the Mercer Project, which is like, what the fuck? What is this? Oh. What? Did I oh, I did Dynamesh. Um, my first job, like, well, full-time, quote-unquote professional job was actually working um, at the Mercer, something called the Mercer Project. His name was Roy Nation. And I was working, pretty much I was just like a conceptual artist. So like, he would, it was a small team. It was only like, what, there were like four of us basically. And, you know, him being the art director, he would just like have these ideas or projects that he would be well, most of the projects that he worked on, because he was also an artist himself. He actually did the cover for one of Rihanna's albums. And, oh, man, when I walked into that office and I saw that, I was like, what the fuck? And the crazy part is that I applied to that job on motherfucking Craigslist at the time, and they called me, and I wasn't even gonna go at first. I was like, okay, this is kind of sketchy, but I'm glad I went. Glad I took that shot on myself. Shot on myself. Whoa. Um, but yeah, you know, as much as like I don't want to share too much about that experience. I learned a lot, you know, working there, and you know, it's crazy because like um, I think that really set up my career going forward. I think, and it has nothing to do with games or anything like that. And it's funny because like that being the first job that I had, the focus was actually on 3D printing. So I actually learned 3D printing on the job while I was working there. And you know, we worked with like CNC machines, which is like printing like large scale printers and stuff because essentially what it was that we would like my job was to listen to him and sculpt out whatever ideas that he had, and one of the ideas was to create statues meant to be put on display, not just in hospitals, but in like loads of places. And the crazy part is like right before the pandemic hit, the project that this would have been so good if we was able to do this. But the last project that I did was like not the last project, but the project that I did right before the pandemic hit was we were working on one of the statue pieces, and again, you know, like concepting, testing in house because we had the CNC machine and the Formlabs printer and stuff like that. And it was basically to make a statue that was going to be in the World Trade Center, the One World Trade Center. And I even went there, like they, like because he had the connections and all that kind of stuff. I went talking to security, and they were like giving me badges, like because basically my job was to go out and scout the place and like take pictures so I can get an idea of like scale, because essentially it was going to be like a statue that was supposed to be like I believe 5 feet tall. The statue itself was 5 feet tall, but the platform that it was going to be on was going to be like another 4 feet. So it was going to be like a 9 feet tall statue. And oh my god, what that would have done for my fucking career. But yeah, like we ended up it ended up falling out because of the pandemic and like all the quarantines and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of stuff's getting shut down. So instead, we changed direction and ended up creating another sculpt for a museum in Tel Aviv, which I guess is really interesting, which says, you know, where where he's from, and you know, the industry that, or at least the environment that I was in. To say the least, I'll say like oh my god, I learned so much about the industry and celebrities and rich people, just around so many millionaires, and hear how they talk about things in the world. Anyways, so I did get that piece in that museum there. I saw that he actually updated that. So I actually don't even have these on my portfolio, and a lot of the reason why, to be honest, is because I don't know. I just, yeah, yeah. It was a time. It was a time. But anyway, so after that, I ended up doing, I think, oh my God. So what ended up happening after that was I ended up quitting. I quit for some time, but I quit and I didn't have work for some time. And what ended up happening was I went to school. I went back to school. I went to Mercy College because I was like, you know what? I might as well just get my degree, since you know I can do this and just work a regular job on the side and make some small money and do some freelancing stuff. Because at that point, I did have a little bit of a client work. So I I do consider freelance work, but it's like it's not consistent enough for me to like make loads of money or make a livable wage kind of thing. At least like at the time, that's how it was for me. But yeah, I learned so much going to Mercy for those 2 semesters. Yeah, I went for like a year, and I like, oh my God, I'm a terrible student, man. I don't know how I'm gonna get my bachelor's degree. I definitely need to get my bachelor's, but I have two associate's degrees, one in communication and one in health, because I studied to be a massage therapist. So yes, I really know the ins and outs of anatomy. um, uh, but but yeah, once I finished the second semester, I meant to go back, but what ended up happening was I ended up landing. I think, let's see what happened. We moved, and I was still working. No, no, actually, I stopped. I actually took a break because I ended up landing a position with third-party films, and I've really enjoyed actually working there. Unfortunately, I do think that I was still in a bit of a depressive. I was in a bit of a funk, honestly, from working at Mercer Project, and I think that kind of carried off into there. Like, those are incredible people there, and I wish, I think the one thing that we don't talk about as a society is depression and how that can affect us, especially as artists, like, unfortunately it can make us tough to be around, and I was like that, and I'm sorry that I was like that, because I wasn't the best person to be around. I was just really pessimistic, and I see some elements of that coming up recently. A lot of it's because like my therapist and I, we were talking about like how the pandemic has really screwed with people. Like, that's one of the biggest conversational topics in his therapy sessions, is people talking about how the pandemic has affected them. And I definitely was affected. I think like it's so crazy because like third-party films was so great, and I think that was the first job I had where I was getting paid like so good. Like, I loved it. But yeah, I wish I made more of the most of it. We did finish a project. It was for a documentary. I was like making historical figures, and funny enough, it was about anti-Semitism. So there's that, and yeah, I think it was a great documentary. It was really talking about like people like Trotsky and stuff, and like how he was like assassinated and stuff, and the story behind that in Russia, and its anti-Semitism at the time, and yeah, I learned a lot, and everybody was really political. So we were able to talk. I even met this guy Matei. Oh man, he's a cool guy. But yeah, that's not even the funny part. The funny part is like, I think it was like towards the end of the project, I ended up landing a position with Blue Sky Studio, and I don't know if you guys if you're familiar with it, that it was a whole fucking scam, and like I didn't know it was a scam, and the reason why is because dude had like a whole deal with Sony. Like they cut a deal with this guy, so like not only was he able to fool, he fooled everybody, bro. Like he fooled everybody, and like I still remember being on the phone with him where he actually owes me money. He still owes me money, like contractually speaking, he owes me money. And like this guy disappeared, by the way, so that's why I can't even like, I don't even know if I'll ever get that money. But yeah, like bro, for real, like pulled a fast one on everybody there. I think what blew him up really was the fact that like they made comparisons to the game being like a game that Kojima was working on, so people thought it was like, oh, Kojima's working on this, because everybody was like really missing Silent Hill. Oh my god. Or well, what was it called? I think it was like a Silent Hill kind of game. I don't even remember. It was a horror game, and it ended up getting scrapped, so everybody was really missing that. But yeah, like I made a few pieces for him. I still have it in my portfolio because like I thought, oh my god, like this guy's got to deal with Sony. This is why I'm kind of skeptical when people try to lead with that. But like he said, he had to deal with Sony, and he's got the money, he's got a team, and the crazy part is he was in Amsterdam. I could have seen this guy because I actually had a trip in Amsterdam. But so anyway, so what ended up happening was I think what happened was like he launched the game on PSN Network, and people were able to like download it and stuff like that and play it, and then that's when shit started to like really, people were like, yo, is this the game that you're like advertising, that you're marketing? And like people started to question him and like ask him all types of questions, and then he comes to me and he's like, oh my god, I feel bad because like, well, no, he didn't say that he felt bad. He's like, he just feels overwhelmed because everybody's like expecting him to do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, bro, like at that point I started to realize like, bro, this guy is not gonna pay me. Like he is definitely not gonna pay me. And I was like, damn, because at the time, like since my first industry job, I worked like maybe 3 freelance thing, like freelance things. Like one, I made like 3 characters for this guy. Another one, I was just like polishing up and fixing up the technical side of like characters for like a Sinful Monarchy. A few other, yeah, it was just mostly like freelancing stuff, but really small time. But for me, this was like super big because this would have been like the first like industry, bro, like if PlayStation's recognizing this guy, that means like, oh my god, like I'm about to like this is about to be big for all of us, like me, him, his team, all that kind of stuff. Little did I know, scammers be scamming. But yeah. Oh, and the other product I worked on was for Armor Core. We actually ended up actually ended up helping out with the Vietnam DLC, but I worked on like 2 things, and like I feel so bad about that because I think what was his name? I think it was Robert Egg. I'm forgetting his name. I'm terrible at names, but he was such a patient guy, and and this alludes me to like another thing about us as artists, but I'll touch on that later if I actually remember because I'm a rambling guy. But there it was pretty cool because like they did like some kind of like revenue share, so like however many pieces you actually get done, that's how much you get paid. So it's like you're not getting paid like a weekly or monthly check or anything like that. Instead, the prompt, because basically they were like a mod community, so that's why they were working on a lot of the DLC for Armor 3. And that's pretty cool. So like if you are a modder, like keep going with it because you might end up working for like a big game and doing like mods and stuff for it. And that's probably what's happening with like Skyrim or like Fallout and stuff like that. But anyway, so he was so patient with me, and I think at the time, when was this? This was, yeah, this was like, yeah, around the time that I was about to start with third party. So that's why, yeah, I actually ended up not working with Mercer Project, and I landed that position, and that was before like Mercy or anything like that. But anyways, I definitely learned a lot about just how to carry myself, and unfortunately, I think again, like working at that Mercer, like it really put me in a funk because the thing that I don't like the most is that like people got like a really bad version of me. And to touch on that even further, just like I feel like we often forget that life is like it's a journey, and like you're not always like we're always changing as people, that's it at the end of the day. We're always changing, and sometimes life gets to us, and sometimes who we become is somebody who is kind of like self-defeating, quitting on themselves. Like this is why I ended up quitting quite a few times because I just just didn't feel like I was good enough. And that's why you have to be very careful about who it is that you're around, because some people will break you down because they see you as a threat, and unfortunately that happened to me quite a few times. So again, that's why I consider me technically starting at like 2018 opposed to 2015 because I just kept. This doesn't even look like it's okay though. I'm gonna keep doing this. I like this. It looks nice to me. Yeah, that's my career. But you know what? I ended up let's see, after third party, which was I think it was a one of I think it was a real experience, and I loved it for that. It wasn't bad. I'll say that it wasn't bad, but it was a real experience, because we were able to talk politics and all that kind of stuff, and I like that. Even though there was discourse, I think it's important to be able to have those conversations in general because they are very important for us to have. But yeah, right after that, that was the blue sky thing. And then after that, that's when I landed. Let's see, it was blue sky, and then I landed a position with Twin Suns because a recruiter reached out to me. Awesome person. Victoria's really awesome person. and like she was able to land me a position with Twin Suns. You know, a lot of rounds of interviews. I'll say that, but got the position. Actually interviewed for the position of environment artist, even though I wanted to do like character stuff, you know. I interviewed for the position of character artist. I mean, for environment artist, and because of that, actually, I'm glad that they hired me, despite me saying I wanted to do like character stuff, and which was really awesome for them too. Which was awesome of them too, because what they ended up doing was like switching me over to character work eventually because of what they saw was in my portfolio. So, just a notification. So, I ended up being able to. I ended up being able to. Sorry, I'm just like gathering my thoughts. Do work. Essentially, almost like a generalist, actually. Aside from the technical side of things, but doing that job with Twin Suns really got me interested in the technical side of things, which explains the next stage of what I did. So what ended up happening was ended up doing like 3 characters for them, and quite a number of environmental pieces as well. And I think they really met me well. I, it was a great city. It was a great time working there. I think everybody was very genuine in who they were, and I thought that was really enlightening and amazing. But yeah, that's when the layoffs happened. I was there with them for like 2 years, and like I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in the industry. I'm finally here. I'm finally doing it. And then people started getting laid off. Shit, it was like the Hunger Games. I can't even lie. Oh my god, it was like the Hunger Games. You just hear the freaking cannon going off every other second. Who went down? Who's down now? Amazon. They released 20,000 employees. Oh, it's not funny because it's people's livelihood, but my livelihood too. But yeah, I got let go, and it wasn't because like performance kind of thing. Unfortunately, they had to let go of like almost all of the staff. Actually, like it was like a skeleton. I think it's a skeleton crew that's running it right now, and it's unfortunate, but it happens in business, and it's not like a personal thing. It's just something that happens, and I think he was put in a very tough position, and he did the best that he could with what he had available to him, and I think that's something that is worth thinking about. I think he did the best that he could, and I think he's a great guy. Tim, that's who I'm talking about, the creative director. I think he's a genuinely nice person. I think it's just like what I just think is the business landscape right now. That's all it is. That's screwing with us. Is that. Oh yeah, and I'm doing this because I'm hoping to get like more happy accidents. But yeah, working there was great. My lead was James. He's a great artist, great guy. He's I think he's very much like me. I'm very too like, at least at that point. I think for that I was still coming out of the hole that I was in emotionally, and I think now I'm feeling a lot better. I'm getting a lot better. I think therapy has been very helpful in helping me, pinpoint what it was that was really, getting to me, and helping me learn to cope and develop different methods to continue my passion. And right now, honestly, I'm not even sure if that's going to be in video games. Like and the crazy part is like I use those funds to sign up for like a technical art course with Aaron Ackerman, and he's an awesome dude too. Really funny, really funny. Um, Wonderful class. Classmates were awesome too. Everybody was like really helpful with each other. Even though Python or object-oriented coding is hard, very hard. but very rewarding when you start to understand it. I'll say that for sure. And even though I don't know if I see myself in the game industry in the future, I do see myself still using those skills like in Unreal Engine because I think for me, the one thing that I had been doing was like limiting myself into thinking that the skill set that I have could only be used in video games. But no, you can use that type of coding because I think of like, what was that movie called? The Jungle Book, how that was made entirely in the Unity engine and how like Unreal is being used in The Mandalorian and other films too. I think recent films have been using it too. Using Unreal Engine for like VFX, and I'd imagine because it's the same software, you can still use blueprints to make things. You can still use all types of blueprints and code, C++ in order to create specific things that you'd like, even if it's like for cinematic purposes, which is honestly a direction that I think I might be going in, is like the cinematic direction, because I do like ultimately games are incredible, they're fun, but really what kept me going into video games is that they're telling a story that I can enjoy. And at the end of the day, it's like, I think for me at least, that's ultimately what I want to do. And that's actually part of the reason why I like this. Like, you're telling a story when you're making these statues. Like, what is this guy doing, or what is this person doing? Where are they going? What is their body or telling us, and what are you including into this piece that adds more to that story that it's telling? And the interesting thing about that is how that concept of storytelling is in everything that we do, because even when it comes down to doing things like design, for example, or concepting, for example, you're still trying to figure out a way to tell a story, right? Even set dressing, like dressing your environment up. What's the story here, And then the pieces themselves, what's the story? What does that texturing say about that piece? Where has that piece been? Is it old? Is it new? Is it broken? And it's so interesting, So, I think for a long time I've limited myself into games, and there's nothing wrong with working in games. I think you can still, like, I still see myself pursuing things in video games. Like, I really enjoy it. I like the idea of creating characters and playing with them and giving them abilities and stuff like that, because in the technical art course, that's essentially what my project was creating a character and creating a workable lightsaber. And I ended up doing a bit more than I actually should have. I ended up getting making the lightsaber functional, giving it sounds and all that kind of stuff, even attack animations. But I ended up doing way more. I ended up creating an entirely custom blueprint, custom animation blueprint tree, where my character had like specific custom moves that I downloaded online. Because I didn't do the animation itself, I just downloaded animations that I can plug into that. And I'm glad that I did that, because I've learned so much about animation inside of Unreal Engine. And the same thing with like making sure that your skeleton was good, also like setting up different paint weights, all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, I honestly, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the technical side of things, but as for like the industry itself, I don't know. Maybe if like unions become more commonplace, but I think if you're watching this, you're probably part of the industry, so you know where I'm coming from. God, this brush is so amazing. Having so much fun with this brush. But yeah, art. All right, I think I'm getting to that point where I should start doing that. This might not look like lighting, but I at least wanted it to be consistent with every other piece. So just gonna do that. Oops, almost forgot this. ultimately at the end of the day, this is like how you do it, you know. You just be consistent with what it is that you want to do. Like, you know, find something that you like and just keep going with it. God, I'm repeating myself. Is that something that just comes with age? You start just like rambling like a parent. I don't even have kids. Well, unless you count cats. Well, maybe our generation considers pets the kids of our generation. That's crazy. Yeah. It's like that moment where I just drop what I'm saying entirely and just start focusing on this. Yeah, life has its ups and downs, people. And you just gotta embrace the moment, honestly. And I think that helps, you know, just embracing the moment that you're in, where you're at, you know. Because that's really it, man. Life itself. There's no destination. It's just a journey. Enjoy that journey. Damn, this thing look nothing like lightning. Let's start up here. Actually, maybe I should increase the intensity a bit, so that way when I do the high polish, I get a little bit more out of it. I'm gonna look down on it, just like stuck. Let's get this done too. Some sculpture, sculpting on it. Apparently it has to connect to something at least. You know what? I have the perfect brush for this. I'm doing this the hard way when I can be doing this the easy way. Now where did I put them brushes? Let's see if this works. I don't want that. So maybe if I do that. So it doesn't have it. Just do this off. Just finish it. Alright, I'm getting much better. Yep, I thought that would work. All right, so got another 15 minutes before I'm done. Oh, well, not for the day, but with this stream. And funny enough, I actually do see that I get a lot of interaction throughout the week. Like my last video has about 30 views, but the stream itself, and people watch through, I think like halfway through, or some people watch, it's like halfway through from what the analytics show me, or they just go all the way through. Um, and that's just with me not talking about anything. Oh shoot, this is too high. Damn, 33. But yeah, stream's, you know, getting close to ending, about 15 more minutes left. But yeah, feel free to comment if you are watching in the future. Let me know what I can improve on these streams, because, you know, one thing with me, you know, just being full transparent, don't care if I'm getting judged for it, but you know, I do deal with social anxiety, and, you know, part of making these streams for me is essentially overcoming that and learning to just talk more, because apparently people like to talk to me, so I gotta get out of my shell a lot more often. That's what I'm gathering from the people, from my friends and stuff. I get what you did. Yeah. As much as I like how that looks, I like a cleaner look a little bit better. It really lends itself to the idea of lightning being, you know, this clear and rigid thing. So I'm gonna get rid of most of these, although I do like them. How they look. Yeah, well, you know, I appreciate anybody that's watching. Well, I've already said this, but I appreciate anybody that's watching in the future, and I'll you know, continue being consistent with these streams, and, you know, please, again, you know, let me know if there's anything that I can change or improve with the sculpts or with the stream itself, because I'm still fairly new at this. If you're looking at my thumbnail, I think that it shows you. Yeah. Ultimately, I'm doing this because I want to get better at talking. I want to hear myself talk more. I want to speak up a lot more. I just want to, yeah, do the thing. Do the thing. Yeah, that clay brush is beautiful. Clay polish. You know what? I don't really use the trim dynamics, so I think I might change that to like the move brush. You know what? I think even though I'm like basically nuking a lot of those details that I wanted to have, I think I like the surface irregularity. I'll just keep changing or adding, taking away. One of these things takes so long. Jesus Christ. It's fun though. Really enjoying this. Boop. All right, let's see Virgil before strings down. Yeah, the anatomy could still use a little bit more, well, a bit more work, honestly. Yeah, I am liking the direction that it's going, to be honest. As crazy as it looks, I love it. And of course, I haven't even named anything. Oh my god. Yeah, I started this guy from Z-spheres. What? Excuse me. All right. So let me start in front of here real quick. All right, well, again, thank you for anybody who's watching in the future. And thank you to future me. Well, why would I be thanking my future self? I don't know. Well, you're welcome? I don't know. Because they'd be thanking me, I guess, for doing this? Okay. Anyways, hope you guys have a great day. You know, take it easy. And stay static. I don't know how to end the stream, to be honest. Like this, subscribe it. Anyways, bye.